Okay. So I met Mary when I was very young. I was very active in my neighborhood. I grew up in a very poor neighborhood, and the founder, Father Joseph Brzezinski, asked me to be part of the training of the activist member. So I was going there regularly, maybe once every 2 months or 3 months. I forgot. It's a long time ago. And this is where I met Mary. And right away, I feel always sitting close to her. She was giving me like a kind of security. And then um, I was also happy with the other member, but I'm talking about Mary. So I'm talking about Mary. And for me, Mary was when we were in the session, the training, but she was always talking about Noisy, what happened there and what's going on now. And for me, she was the history of Noisy, the words. She was the words of people who was living there. She was the words of women because she was very close to. She was regularly never stopped going to the foyer féminin in the shelter. I say shelter, but I don't know if it's the good word. Um, but she was also the movement, and she was very attached to the three components of the movement. Means the active member, the volunteers, and the supporters. And when I've spent 2 times in Noisy-le-Grand before coming to New York, and her house always have people in her house. She always have or a whole volunteer come in and visit her, or the volunteers from the neighborhood and or the active members. People love to be around her. She has like a spirit. She was giving in like a spirit to the people. So that's why it conduct me to the little story I want, the little anecdote. I don't know if it's anecdote in English, but I say it anyway. So I was going to regularly to the university when I was at Noisy, regularly to the Université Populaire, and I think that time Marie was co leading the meeting with Françoise, and there was this supporter who was going regularly to bring a family who used to live in the wood, in a little cabin in the wood. And he was coming regularly and bring them to the meeting. And one day, there is something happened. I don't want to tell the story because it's not the place for that. But one day, he came and that what happened when he arrived with the family make me extremely upset, completely upset. So I went to talk to him, but I was not nice. I was rude, but I didn't know I was rude. I was just upset. And a couple of days or week later, and Marie talked to me, and she said, "Then I met that supporter leave. What did I make? Why I was so rude?" And so I don't want to go to the detail. We talk, and then for me, I understood. Then for me, it was the time when I understood. Then you have to make an effort with everybody to be welcoming, even if you have something to say. You not agree with something, then you have to be welcoming. So that was my strong. I have also a little story, but that was my strongest story with Marie. And I think since last time I make an effort, and I did change a lot, but I still, if I have something to say, I still say it, but I quiet down a lot. So that's why she changed me somewhere. I think that's it. I don't want to stop. And I just, where is the paper? Oops. Yes. I just wanted she was an activist, and she was very somebody who wanted to represent the the poor people. She wanted to be a voice, like all like the members we have around her. Some members they really want to be a voice, and she was that. And one day also, when I left the volontariat and I met them in Paris, I met Marie and other members, and then she said she could not understand why I didn't want to do that. And then for me, we are called for different things. So, but we were talking a lot. So that's what I want to say about her. Sorry about my accent. I'm going to read a part of the how do we say in English, preface, of the book. It's like a book called Croisement of Power. So there is 3 different training, but it's the last book where a lot of militants, they meet with professionals, with people who have power, and then to decide to figure out what they can change things. Well, no, that's it. I'm saying that. So I'm reading what she said. Sorry about my accent. I joined the fight when I became aware of the injustice where we were experiencing. I'm no longer the guilty party, but a victim than a fighter. A fighter against the exclusion that poverty represents. Father Joseph Wezensky asked everyone to take a responsibility in the fight, to become aware of their personal value in order to appreciate themselves, and by joining force with others, to become a force in the fight against poverty. The weapons for this fight come from your own experience. It is the opposite of every man for himself. With your brother, with your loved one, join with other being poor people. There are those who are even poorer. The year passed. We trained at the popular university of the first world, coming from different cities and different countries. We recognize ourselves as a people who experience the injustice of poverty. We learn to see ourselves as thinking, being capable of reflecting, speaking out, defending our idea, and communicating with others. Then we learn to work with academic and professional, to have conducted research with them, to have exchanged our knowledge, to have written together was madness. At first, it was like a great utopia, but we really did it, and it's not a dream. With the academic, it was a question of combining knowledge that was unknown to us, sociological or historical knowledge. With the professional, it was a question of overcoming our fear and preconception of erasing the failure we had experienced in our life. Whether with teachers, doctors, we have learned that the truth, we did it for ourselves for a better future. We did it for our children for a better future. We did it for our loved one for a better future. We have learned that the true merging of knowledge cannot be achieved through a simple mutual exchange or information. What is needed and what is more difficult is a way of getting to know and recognize each other as individuals who, based on their own life and perception, possess knowledge that the other does not have and must learn. Ooh. This merging of knowledge is therefore only possible if a beginning exchange between people take place in dialogues, works, but also in a moment of doubt, laughter, and hope. For there to be exchange and dialogues, some must not come as a giver and other as a receiver. This exchange that I have had with people from other backgrounds are giving me the strength to want it not only for my children, but for all those who live in poverty today. Everything we have done since then has been an extension of that. Other activists working to combat poverty continue to stand up and move forward. We are still in the early stage of taking the voice of the poorest people into account. This voice helps us understand where we need to go to give everyone the best possible opportunity. We have experience of what must not continue. We can no longer say that poverty is inevitable. It is not inevitable. No, sorry. We can no longer say that poverty is inevitable. It is not inevitable. I have confidence in the work we are doing with academic and various institutions. If we give ourselves the means to learn together, we can change practice that have had very little effect on poverty. Today, this book is an encouragement for all those living in poverty to join others to educate themselves and to speak out so that this great injustice that is poverty can be ended.